Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. What do I do? What do I do? What's poppin' YouTube? 1 out of billion is in the house. Welcome to Incognito, back to school special. Today, I'm gonna tell you about my life-changing experience. How I met a man who's the only person who interviewed Osama bin Laden after 9/11. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Moving on. I'm 1 out of billion, an undercover journalist. Different identities, one thing in common: the art to lie. I've told over 100 stories, and now it's time to tell mine. A teeny tiny look at the background. I was a journalism student. UNESCO Press Freedom Day was happening. It's an event where the coolest and the toughest journalists from all around the world gather together and talk about hot topics. I and a few other young journalists from all around the world were invited to participate in this event, which happened for 3 days. I had to write articles about the event and the people who were there. There was this improvised newspaper which came out the next morning for the people attending this event. In the early morning of second day, editor tells me that there is this guy who has interviewed Osama bin Laden. I thought, cool, I want to talk to him. Got his phone number, but the phone was off. Couldn't find him anywhere in the building. No one knew where he was. With little hope, I decided to write him an email. It's the last method you try because not too many people like to be interviewed, and via email it's more likely that someone will refuse or just ignore your message. But I had to try. I basically wrote who I am and that I want to meet him to write an article. Sent the email and started wondering about my plan B. If he doesn't respond, what should I write about?
You've got mail.
Check my mail. It's from him. I will come out in the lobby within 10 minutes. I only knew that this guy has interviewed Osama bin Laden. That's it. I had only 5 minutes to do some research on him and to figure out how I'm gonna write the story. Find stories focus and angle. So I started Googling Hamid Mir.
Hamid Mir.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. What do I do? What do I do? The guy is a star. He's talked to bin Laden. He's been shot. He has more Twitter followers than my country's population. What do I do now? Of course, I wasted all of my 5 minutes of research on panicking, and now was the time to go to meet him. And there he was standing. I was like, hello, I'm 1 out of billion. That's me interviewing Hamid. Hamid was super friendly and talked to me like an equal. This little detail makes me respect him even more now. So after a few words, I felt really comfortable and we started talking. I heard many interesting details about his life and experience with bin Laden, and I'm going to share some of it with you. So it turns out he has interviewed Osama bin Laden more than once, but he became famous as the first journalist who interviewed bin Laden after 9/11 terrorist attacks. Osama's personality. Hamid described bin Laden as a human with 2 completely different sides. The first time he interviewed Osama was in 1997. Back then, bin Laden wasn't the world's most wanted man, but he had already started his terrorist career. Before the interview, Hamid was asked to take off his clothes and was told that he will be strip searched. Hamid refused and started arguing. It took a while, but the strip search had to be done anyway. When he walked in the room, Osama bin Laden apologized to Hamid about the strip search. It turns out that Osama, in face-to-face communication, was very polite. He always worried about his guests and wanted to serve the best food on the table. His other side was the side we heard about on the TV: regular terrorist attacks, innocent deaths, and huge influence. Getting to Osama. So why was he honored to meet the world's most wanted man after 9/11? After 9/11, Hamid was a guest on Larry King's show where he told some things Bin Laden didn't like. He criticized Bin Laden's actions, told that he has met him a couple of times and that there is no justification for his actions. That Osama bin Laden is not capable of convincing a man like Hamid Mir. After this interview, Hamid got approached by people from Al-Qaeda. They said, "The chief wants to see you, and this time, he will convince you." At this point, Osama had become the world's most wanted man, and the procedures for getting to him were more complex than before. First, Hamid was blindfolded and put into an ambulance car. The driver was making random turns so the passenger wouldn't know where he is at the moment at one point. After a few hours, he was dropped in a safe house in the middle of nowhere. Safety procedure! Hamid went into the house and was strictly watched by Al-Qaeda people. You're thinking he's about to meet Bin Laden? Wrong! Hamid was kept in that house for 2 days where people from Al-Qaeda asked him to do random things. He had to put some kind of gel on his skin. He had to take hot bath every few hours despite the fact it was more than plus 30 degrees outside. He had to drink some kind of pills, and because of them, he had to go to the bathroom almost every 5 minutes. Why? Al-Qaeda thought that Hamid could have some chemicals in his body that can be traced by satellites. And of course, Americans would do that. That's why he had to sweat a lot. That's why he had to go to the toilet all the time, so he could lose all his body fluids. At last, he was brought to Bin Laden. Bin Laden couldn't convince Hamid this time as well, but he didn't kill him, which is good. But when Hamid wanted to take his recordings and go away, people from Al-Qaeda stopped him and took his stuff. Do you think they weren't happy about the interview and wanted to get rid of the materials? Wrong! They told Hamid that it's too dangerous for him to carry this stuff on his own. They promised to deliver the footage to his work, and they did. After a conversation with Hamid, I had feeling that I have met Bin Laden myself. For writing this article, I got personal gratitude from high-level person from UNESCO, can't remember his name. But more important, I received an email from Hamid the next day. He told me I did an excellent job and wished me good luck. One day I'm sitting in the university and talking to course mates. The next day I'm interviewing world-class journalists with insane stories and receiving complimentary emails about my work. Amazing. At this point I was fully sure that I want to continue my work in journalism, and I moved forward. Hamid's experience and simplicity were influential and inspirational. Osama bin Laden was shot in 2011, and that's why Hamid Mir will always have these titles. Journalist who interviewed bin Laden 3 times. The first and the only journalist who interviewed bin Laden after 9/11. And the man who made bin Laden apologize. Conclusions. Lesson number 1. Stay in school. I won't lie. In the study years, I had my doubts. Am I in the right profession? Will I be interested? The university didn't answer my questions. But because of the university, I got to meet Hamid, and he answered my questions. Lesson number 2. Don't be afraid to talk to big shots. It's so much easier not doing things that you might be scared of. But it's not good for your self-growth. Hamid could have chosen not to talk to Osama, and I could have chosen not to talk to Hamid, but that's not the way to move forward in your life. Lesson number 3. Don't be afraid to inspire. If you're a big shot, don't avoid talking 10-15 minutes with a young person who has chosen a similar path as you have. You could really inspire them by just telling them about your experience. If you're interested in the article I wrote about Hamid, the link is in the description. What do you think of this episode? Leave comments below. I want to hear your opinion. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to 1 out of billion. If you're generous enough to support this channel, PayPal cryptocurrency donations are accepted. Links are in the description. I also have a Patreon page, and I would like you to become my patron. Any kind of support is appreciated. I'm 1 out of billion. Shout out to Hamid. Peace out.
Incognito.